Welcome. Welcome to Fostering Positive Relationships with Parents. If this is the KU session that you're looking for, you're in the right place. This is Fostering Positive Relationships with Parents, and I'm Dr. Alexis McCoy. Hi, virtually. So let's get to it. When parents and teachers communicate well with one another, they are able to support student learning together. As such, communication between home and school is vital. However, parents and teachers do not usually have obvious opportunities for interaction. Rather, one party must intentionally reach out to the other for communication to take place. So this is really what we're talking about today is fostering those positive relationships with parents and what you can do to support student learning with parents together. Okay. So welcome, I'm Dr. McCoy. I just want to tell you a little bit about myself. I am a researcher. So I've conducted research on parent supports in education in various settings, in general education classrooms, in charter schools, in early childhood, in special education, parent supports for students that are culturally and linguistically diverse. That's kind of my research background. I'm a former educator. I taught in Texas. I taught middle school, grades 5 through 8. Hey, all the middle school teachers. So I really understand firsthand how important it is to really foster those relationships and how it can be really wonderful when you do have a great relationship with the parents for the students in your class. I'm currently a special education coordinator here in Keller, going into my third year and my 12th year in education. So, very excited to be with you guys today and really share a little bit of my passion with you and support you and your positive relationships with your families. So here's the agenda. So we're going to talk about the benefits. So why do we want positive relationships, and what does the research say? And I think that's really going to motivate everyone. Like, oh, I didn't know that. Even more reason to jump on this bandwagon of sorts. We're going to talk about how you can plant the right seeds, laying the foundation. We're going to talk about using technology, parent meetings, what should happen at those parent meetings, how should they be set up, and supporting all parents, parents from all backgrounds. So when I say all parents, I mean parents that are accessing McKinney-Vento. I mean parents that are coming from low income backgrounds. I mean parents that are immigrant families. I mean parents that speak another language other than English. I mean parents that are African American. I mean all parents. Okay, so what are some strategies that you can use there? Let's get started. So, the benefits of positive parent teacher relationships. This is based on the research. So, increased student readiness and interest in their work, right? So, think about how just that connection of having that strong connection with parents and really being a team, how that can impact students and their work, their interests, their motivation. Increase parent satisfaction with teachers. So research shows that teachers are happy, parents are happy, teachers are happy when parents are happy. As a teacher, it makes you feel good when you get a great note from a parent, when parents say something positive in the carpool line. It just really does brighten your day to get that support. So that increased parent satisfaction is a win. Higher teacher satisfaction. So, as educators, we feel better about our jobs. We feel better about getting up and coming to work every day if we know that we have those great relationships with parents. I just remember I was in a school that was having to downsize. So fortunately I didn't get downsized, but at that time just didn't know. So just a lot of stress. I know a lot of people have been in that situation. And right at the right time, a parent sent me an email saying how she was just so appreciative of all the hard work that I'd done to support her son, and that his ability to make friends outside of the classroom was really important to her, and she's glad that I kind of helped her and other parents make those connections for those out of school fun activities for the students to really have that social time that her son was struggling with. So I still have that letter. It just came at the right time, just really uplifted my spirits, and made me feel better about my job and the situation. And sometimes it feels good to know, yeah, this is my life path. I'm on the right track. I'm confident about it, even when we have those tough days and hard situations. So that higher teacher satisfaction, higher academic achievement for the students, right? So we have parents that are able to implement things at home because you're working with them and you're communicating with them and you're sharing materials and resources and they're reinforcing what you're doing at school, at home. Higher academic achievement. We want that for all of our kids. We want to close those achievement gaps. We really want to see them excel, right? Increased attendance rates. Okay. When you have that partnership with parents, they are a lot more likely to bring the kids to school. And when they don't bring them, they're more likely to tell you why, and so you guys can get it back on track. Okay. And positive student attitudes and behaviors. Parents and teachers working together, making that partnership known to the students, letting them see the strength and the unity of the partnership, that teamwork, that really can improve outcomes for students, especially students with significant behavior needs. Students that may be struggling in those areas, creating a partnership with those families, that's a really important academic factor as well as a behavioral factor. So we've got the benefits. Everyone's like, I'm on board. I want to do this. My kids need this. I need this. Yes. Sign me up for all of those positive things. Okay. It's time to work. So, how do we plant the right seeds? How do we put ourselves in the best situation for this to happen in our classrooms, for our kids, with our families? All right, so you're going to start with establishing lines of communication. So describe how you're going to communicate with families. Is it going to be that you're going to send notes home? Are you going to do phone calls? Are you going to email? Are you going to email them? And let families know how they can contact you. Whatever you decide, okay? If you decide I'm going to send a weekly newsletter, you have to send a weekly newsletter. You should send it every week. That consistency builds trust. So, as you're thinking about your communication method, don't overextend yourself. I wouldn't say, I'm going to send you a daily newsletter and I'm going to let you know every lesson I taught. I'm going to do that for all the kids. And I'll tell you when they went to PE and I'll do all of these things and I'll send you pictures for music and theater. You're overextending yourself. That sounds absolutely wonderful to be in that position where you overshare with every single family and you think, yes, this is great to build trust. And then the first week of school, you're doing it. The second week of school, oh, not so much. Third week of school, not so much. Please don't sign yourself up. Please don't commit to something that you cannot keep with consistency. Now, families will understand you were out sick or you're getting, that's why I'm getting the newsletter out late, or something happened with technology, so I'm getting it out the next day. Just communicate that. But don't put yourself in a situation where you agree to something and you don't uphold your word. We have to build trust with families every August. You got a brand new group of students you're building rapport with. You got a brand new group of families you're building rapport with. And it really starts with being a person of your word, and that makes you trustworthy. Okay. So communicate on an ongoing basis with families. Positive news, updates on student progress, and challenges. Please don't let the first time a parent hears from you be about something negative. Don't let that be it. And don't put yourself in a situation where you have a student that maybe is struggling academically or behaviorally, and you're constantly calling parents about that. And then when the student makes progress, you're not calling the parent about the progress. You're not calling the parent about the growth. We've got to balance it out. As teachers, we're taught we really have to give praise on a high rate. Okay. We have to make sure that we're praising those students and constantly building them up and building their self esteem. That is the same kind of mentality and mindset you have to take with families. As a parent, if I pick up my phone and it's Mr. Johnson calling me again to complain about Brandon, I don't want to talk to Mr. Johnson. I'm tired of hearing about him complaining about Brandon's behavior. He's not bringing me any resources. He's not offering any strategies. He's calling to complain about Brandon's behavior every day. Does Brandon not do anything positive? That's what's going through my mind as a parent. I don't want to answer that phone call. Okay? So just think about it, having that empathy and putting yourself in their shoes. Try to be mindful about the communication that you have with families. If there are behavior concerns, if there's academic concerns, please notify families. But also notify families when that kid is doing something well. It could be, you know what, Miss McCoy, Brandon followed the morning routine today without any reminders. I'm so proud of him for making progress in that. Something that small can open the door, okay, for a good relationship. But please don't beat the parents down with the negative. When you communicate with parents, ask questions and listen actively. Okay, so you're not listening to respond. You really want to hear, what can I glean from this parent? What do they need from me? How can I support them? How can I support the child or team? Okay. Remember, the parent is a resource. All right. They're sending that child to you in August. They're sending their best and brightest. They're sending their baby, even if it's their 17-year-old baby. It's still their baby. Okay. In the parent's mind, it is. So just as parents can learn from teachers, teachers can learn from parents. Parents may give you insights about the child that you were unaware of, things that you may use to your benefit to help motivate them, to help lift them up, to help get them engaged in learning. I recommend talking with parents and finding out, what is Brandon like? What does he work for at home? Do you reward him with like video game time? Does he like sports? What are things that he's interested in? How can I bring those things into the classroom? How can I use them to keep him engaged? How can I use them for rewards with his behavior? How can I use them as motivation? Okay. Provide ways that they can help at home and in the classroom. Let parents know things that are coming up. This is the unit coming up. We're going to be going into in our American history class. We're going to be really talking about the Constitution. And then some parents will say, okay, it's been 20 years since I learned about the Constitution. I'm interested in what Brandon's learning about it. Parents want to have those conversations with their kids after school. They want to engage with them and find out what's happening in the classroom. And as parents, as the students get older, it's harder to get that information. Okay? So really encourage that, the positive communication between the parent and the student. Just sharing, provide ways that parents can help at home, provide ways that they can be included in the learning. Okay. Oops. Foster effective engagement. Okay. So parent teacher interaction is an opportunity for parents to learn from you and you to learn from them. Their insights into their child's strengths and needs can be very helpful. We all need praise and constructive criticism. Show parents that you value the strengths of their children and have high expectations for their ability to succeed, regardless of if that's that student's second year in that grade, they repeated the grade, regardless of if they didn't pass their STAR last year, regardless of if they're on a 504 plan, regardless of if they have ARD paperwork and they're in special education, regardless of if they're a behavior concern, that student needs high expectations. The parent needs to know that you have high expectations for their child. How can you convey that to them? That you really, I know that Brandon can do it. Let's talk about how we can work together to get him there, to improve in math. I'm going to offer tutoring. These are some resources you can use at home. These are some websites. There's some community resources for free local tutoring. Let's support Brandon in math together because he can do it. Okay, high expectations. Avoid judgments about what they should do and instead emphasize how can we work together to resolve any problems. We're on the same team. No one wants to be on a basketball team with a ball hog. That's not fun. No one's enjoying the game, and the team certainly is not winning. You can't hog the ball all the time. You've got to pass it. Okay? Give the parent an opportunity. Give them a chance to give input, to be involved in the conversation. Give them resources. Give them the ball sometimes. Explain your decisions. So take the time to explain any instructional or any disciplinary decision, anything that's been made regarding the child. If you have to make a change for Brandon, please call me as a parent and explain and walk me through that process of how we got there to, because of his repetitive um, discipline referrals, we're going to have to make some changes for Brandon. Talk me through those changes. Why are we moving his seat? And why did you pick the seat you chose? What kind of behavior contract are we writing for him? Can I see it? Can you kind of give me some insight about it? All right, take the time and explain those things. Many parents may not understand certain aspects of the educational system, standardized testing. To be honest with you, some of the parents that we're working with, when they were in school, they were taking TOS. Star is different. Okay, they don't have the background about those kinds of changes in standardized testing and the expectations and all of that. They don't understand those things, right? But you know what? Because they're coming to us and trusting us as the educator. If a parent has questions about it, if a parent has questions about EOCs, explain, enlighten them, let them in. That's the wonderful part about the team, right? That we're talking about with the families is there's insight that you have that's valuable to them. The same for them. They have valuable insight for you. Curriculum choices, how the curriculum progresses, proper protocols and things that we have to do. I know you guys probably had to explain a lot of stuff to parents this past school year with all the COVID changes. You know, just be open, honest as you possibly can be with families, and just really just try to be a resource yourself. Educating parents who are unfamiliar with the education system makes it easier for them to understand what you're doing and why. Okay? I'm excited. I'm clicking too fast. All right, technology. Using technology to your benefit. Everyone got real acquainted with technology this last school year. Zoom, Remind, all kinds of things we've had to use. Okay. So we're good and we're warmed up, but how can we use technology to your benefit in this area? Create a website. You can make a website. There's a lot of free ones that you can make. You can have your basic info as contact information, school policies, your classroom rules or policies, supplies, expectations you have for students and parents for a successful school year, just about you, just being open, and that's a great way for parents to be able to get that information from you, and create great platforms for building websites, WordPress, Wix, and Weebly. If parents do not have internet access, prepare a pamphlet or a newsletter and distribute them to parents. So I don't recommend, if you're going to use technology, that you go 100% tech. Some parents, even if they have access to unlimited data, are just paper people. You know what? A great time to find out is when you're introducing yourself to that parent. Hey, you know what? I have a classroom website. I'm not really sure if you like using technology in that way, or do you prefer that I send everything home paper, in Brandon's backpack, or I can email you if you don't really want to do the website thing. Just kind of let me know how you feel about it. Give them options. Okay? Use technology to reach out to parents specifically about their child. So don't make class level contact your only means of communication with parents. Make some personal contact with parents about their child when they're doing something well. So I hit on that earlier. When they're doing something well, doing so can help you establish rapport And when problems arise, you have to contact parents about that too. Do that in a timely manner. I know we get busy, we have a lot of things that we are juggling, but try not to wait. I actually had a parent call me that was concerned that their child had been disciplined 5 days later. And they said, well, I don't even know if he's going to understand the importance of the discipline when it came down so late. Okay, so just be mindful of that. Create a short email or newsletter, update your website to let parents know what topics you're covering in class, what homework is expected, any big projects that parents can help with. I think parents would love to know that their child has to, recreate the American Revolution in a diorama, or they have to make a volcano. They probably want to know that in advance. So make sure you're putting that on the newsletter. Make sure you put that on the website because we know sometimes the students forget and it's the day before the volcanoes due and the parents are a little stressed. So any way that you can communicate that stuff in advance, not just rely on the students, that would be helpful. Keep parents updated on field trips, PTA meetings, school activities. And with this, it's very important to know when you're sending those updates, if there is a student in your class that is on your roster and that student comes in your class, maybe they come for morning meeting, okay? Maybe they come for science. Maybe they come for a little bit of time in math with a paraprofessional. This may be a student that has a disability. Include those parents on those updates when you send those newsletters, even if that parent may know that their kid's only in there for morning meeting and science. Include them. Okay, parents want to be updated as well. Every parent. That's a part of being inclusive. That's a part of supporting all parents. So even those kids that are in your class that have disabilities that may not be with you from 8 to 3:30, include their parents on the newsletters too. Okay, and talk to them about things that are happening in the class, especially when their kids there. Consider including questions that parents might ask their children about the school week, especially for some of our younger students. We're studying ancestors this month. Ask your child what he knows about his great grandparents. Just, to, just something to kind of get it going, right? Again, helping them build that connection. And you're also really reinforcing what you're teaching. You're activating that learning morning, noon, and night. That's helping the kids remember that a lot of those benefits that we're talking about in the beginning, those academic benefits. Create an optional and informal electronic survey for parents so that they may share information about their family or child with you. So you can do a survey, you can do a written questionnaire that you send home, you can talk to parents about it over the phone. Parents know their children well, and using their insight into their child's academic and social behaviors should prove useful in your teaching. Offer opportunities to have students and parents extend learning. So, online games, videos, resources, different little interactives that have been posted that have to do with what we're learning in class. Okay, so a lot of things that they can use, maybe if they just want to engage their student on the weekend. We want to do a virtual tour of the zoo because we're talking about specific animals, specific mammals in science. Okay, and sending those links home in the newsletter or on your website. Hey, over the weekend or after school, if you want to learn more about what we're learning in class, here's some links, some info. All right. Now, parent meetings, if you're going to meet with parents. So let's say you want to do it in person or you want to do this over the phone. If it's your first meeting with the parent, hold that first meeting the first month of the school year, if possible. Start off on a good foot. Lay a great foundation. All right. Create an online sign up so that parents who are not able to be on campus, so maybe they're not coming up to campus, dropping their kid off at the carpool line to sign up with you, so they can find times that work for their schedules. At these meetings, try to make a personal connection with each family. Learn about the family. Try to remember some of those things that you can bring up in conversation later when you talk to parents. Building that rapport, the same way we do with students. Use this time to explain your plans for communication throughout the year. Openly discuss with parents what their communication preferences and expectations are. Talk about kind of what's coming up this school year, any big things that you have planned, any field trips that you're going to do. Just really generate a lot of excitement about your class, about your material. That is really going to speak wonders, to be honest with you, because parents can see it. When you're excited, when you're passionate, when you love English and your grammar is like, you're all about grammar. You're so excited about it, right? It exudes from you. Parents want to see that their kid's teacher is enthusiastic, that they care about the material that they're learning, and they care about the kid. And they care about building a partnership with me as a parent. So, what do you say? What do you say if something has happened and you've got to call a parent? Okay. The student has exhibited significant behavior. Okay. Let's say you have a student that got in a fight in your class or said a bad word or hurt another peer. First thing, don't talk to or write a parent when you're mad. Don't do it. Mm-mm. Give yourself time to calm down. Sometimes our adrenaline's rushing when you're in those situations when something's happened. Maybe you've had to clear the classroom or you've had to call the administrator. You've never had to call the administrator. And now you've got the team in your room trying to help you with this. It kind of gets you flustered, right? As a teacher, there's a lot happening. You're worried. You're worried about the student who's in distress. You're worried about the other kids. You know, give yourself some time. Call the parent. Call them. Don't tell them via email that something's happened or that something negative. Okay. And if they respond with a difficult email, maybe from frustration or just kind of being upset about maybe how the situation was handled, refrain from responding via email. I get a lot of emails from parents that are upset. Okay. They're upset about how the teacher has done this or how the campus didn't do that, whatever it may be, and it's not really productive to engage in those kind of conversations where you're trying to smooth things out via email. Smooth it out over the phone, smooth it out over a Zoom, smooth it out in person. Because when I have a parent that's upset, I want them to see my body language. I want them to feel my energy. I want them to see my facial expressions, to see the concern. I want them to hear and feel that they're genuinely heard and I'm being empathetic for their situation. You can't do any of that through an email. Okay? Don't propose your solution first. You know what, Miss McCoy? This is the third time that Brandon has said a bad word in class. And I'd love to hear kind of your idea. I have some thoughts. What would be your idea of how we can kind of discourage him from using that type of language? In my mind, I know I want a behavior contract. I want him to be held accountable, but don't come in like I'm the expert. I know what I'm doing 100%, and you should listen, right? Don't talk to the parent that way. Just open it up. Have your ideas, have your resources in the back of your mind, and be flexible. There may be strategies that they're doing at home. Are you, Miss McCoy, are you seeing this kind of behavior at home? Is Brandon using a lot of bad words, using curse words? Yeah, he is. He is. And what we're doing is restricting his time on his Nintendo Switch. And I think we can partner with that. If you send me an email or you let me know that he said a bad word at school, then we can decrease his time on his Switch. Absolutely, we can partner with that. Okay, that's probably even more effective. Now kids love the games, right? So let's hear those suggestions. Ask what's been done in the past, offer suggestion, describe the problem in non-judgmental terms, avoid words like never and always, avoid absolutes. Okay? He's not always saying bad words. He doesn't come in the door saying bad words. It's not that he never listens. Okay? So just really avoid that. Those things are very pointed, right? And as a parent, if your child is struggling, that brings a lot of emotions. It's kind of hurtful. You may be embarrassed. You may be concerned, especially if it keeps happening. Is this a reflection on me? How can I stop it? And now I'm being called up to the school for a parent meeting. Parents don't want to get called to school for bad parent meetings. So there's a lot that's happening internally when they find out this is what's happening. My student's failing. Geez, my student's failing. I've been helping them. I've been taking them to tutoring. What more can I do? I'm at a dead end. All right. So describe the problem in non-judgmental terms. You wouldn't call me and say, Miss McCoy, do you curse at home? Because Brandon's always cursing. Miss McCoy, do you not help Brandon with his homework? Because he is failing math. Do you not know that he has homework? No. No. That we're not gonna do. Okay? We're just stating the facts and we're being supportive. That's it. Be resourceful. So when parents come to you with questions or those specific situations where you got to go to a parent, point them in the right direction where they can find some help. Okay, where can they find some help? If you share a concern, be prepared to suggest resources. Reach out and get resources from your administrator. Reach out and get resources. We have a lot of supports in this district. A lot of individuals that can be a resource for you. Who's your team lead? Who's your grade level lead? Hey, I have a student and they are really struggling. They are really struggling academically with this one concept. I've invited them to tutoring. I want to offer some things they can do at home. What websites do you recommend for them to practice this concept? What can I send home? Try to give information to the parents and help them. Okay, create a website with that information, that contact info, and just that's a great way for you to use the website. These are common concepts that students struggle with. Here's a link of resources. Here's videos of me reteaching it. Yeah, I know everybody is struggling with the Pythagorean theorem. Let me make a video, right? I'm looking at my test scores. I'm assessing them in the classroom, and I know historically when I teach this every year, students struggle. Just make a video going through a couple of questions step by step and put it up on the site or email it out for parents that are helping with the homework, because parents are really seeing that the way that we're teaching concepts may not be the way that they learned it. Math may not be their expertise, English may not be their expertise, but it's yours. You're the expert in your curriculum, right? So be a resource, be resourceful. So you've had a parent meeting. There are certain things that may come up that would signify or let you know, I need to ask for more help. In conversation, if a parent gives you a copy of an outside evaluation, I know you said Brandon is struggling with math. Well, he was evaluated by his doctor. His doctor says he has ADHD. Notify your AP. Take that information and notify your AP. If a parent says, oh, this is probably the second time this year we talked about Brandon struggling in math. I think he needs to be tested. Notify your AP. If a parent requests an ARD meeting, well, if Brandon is struggling with math like this, we just need to have an ARD. But the kid is in your class and does not receive any special education services. Notify your AP. So these are three things that would signal, I may need to ask some more questions, and let the AP guide you through this. If any of these things come up when you're speaking with parents. All right. How can I support parents from all backgrounds? Everybody. Every single parent in my classroom. What can I do to support them? First thing you need to remember, the way that you see school is one perspective. one way of seeing school. The way we do school in Keller ISD, we're one district of many in many counties, in many states in this country. Just one, we're one way. In other countries, school is very different. Very different. Remember in school, when I was in my graduate program, we did some research on how schools are run in different countries. In different westernized countries, they don't even look the same. Okay. We had peers that shared insight of how school was for them in China and how we had maybe 20 to 30 kids in the classroom. They had 50 to 60, all in rows, no alternative seating. Oh no, right? So just think about it. And our way of doing it isn't the only way. There's so many different ways to educate children, but everyone may not understand that. Parents may not understand our policies. Explain them. Parents may not get it. Enlighten them. So there are some things that are just ways of doing school that we just know. Texas history is just something we just know. When I first moved here, I was like, Texas history? From South Carolina, we didn't teach South Carolina history. Is this for like a grade? Is this serious? What is this? Right? And I'm just from another state. We didn't do that. I understand it's important now. Okay. Parents may not have had positive school experiences themselves. I cannot reiterate this enough. Remember this for every parent that you meet. Not every parent had a positive school experience. Not every parent had a positive teacher. Not every parent was successful in school. Not every parent looked forward to school. Not every parent finished school. Okay? So, our perspective of it, that this is a wonderful place, that this is the best place on earth. I'd love for you guys to have that perspective because it's true and it will radiate from everything that you do. Because if that's your truth, it will show that you feel like your classroom is the best. It's the best place to support students. Your school is on the move. They're on the rise. They do what's right for kids, right? But parents may come to you and they don't feel the same way. You may feel anxious coming to school, stressed, concerned because things didn't go well for them. School was hard for them. Will school be hard for my kid? Just keep that in mind. Consider the parent's perspective too. Consider the parent's perspective too. All parents, no matter what language is spoken, want to know that you understand their child. It's especially important when you don't speak the same language as them. Parents want to know that you care about their kid, that you have high expectations for their kid, and you really understand their kid's needs, regardless of background, regardless of language spoken, regardless of anything that may on the outside make us different. Those are things that all parents want. How can you relay that? How can I relay that if we don't speak the same language? How can I show parents that I'm trying? You know, I just remember I had a family and they were just so appreciative of the fact that when I saw them, in the carpool line, I made the effort to say something to them in Spanish in my interesting Southern Spanish accent. And when I met them, I just tried to anything that I could say, small things, whether it's, yo soy Alexis McCoy, soy maestra de Brandon, mucho gusto. That was like 3 lines. I think everybody on this call can learn those 3 lines. But it meant a lot to parents that they saw like I was trying. I understood there's a language barrier, but I want you to know I'm trying. Whether it's Spanish or it's Vietnamese or it's Korean or anything. We're in such a diverse district. Our students speak so many languages. I forgot how many languages are represented in Keller ISD. but it was definitely over 100. Just something simple. Even if you say hi wrong, the parents will smile. They'll help you. They'll appreciate it. Okay. Avoid assumptions. Avoid assumptions. Avoid assumptions. Okay. We have students that come to us that may have clothes that are dirty. Avoid assumptions. We have students that come to us and may be hungry. Avoid assumptions. Okay. Be supportive of families in difficult times. There are families that are struggling right now that may have never struggled before just because of the pandemic. There are families where they may be struggling financially right now. Remember, in general, parents are doing the best they can. And I say in general because I'm excluding parents that do things that are bad or abusive to kids. But in general, parents are doing the best they can. They're really trying hard, especially now. How can we be a support? Educate yourself about the unique needs of your families. I worked with a family that was accessing our schools through McKinney-Vento. They needed help. Okay. And I had a campus that was on board, a principal that was on board, supporting that family over long breaks, making sure that they had library books and food over the holiday break, anything that family needed. There are certain kids that will come into your class that need more than academics. They need more than social help, right? Or behavior supports. And you guys know that. As educators, we play many roles, we wear many hats. Ask questions of families, listen to their responses. If you can help, if you can provide some resources, if you can connect them with our districts, um, it just flew out of my mind. Misty, our social worker, just don't make assumptions. Okay? Don't make assumptions. I can't reiterate that enough. And if you have a family that does not speak the same language as you can use Remind, I've been told. You can also use Talking Points. These are free apps to help you communicate with parents that don't speak English. They're on Apple, they're on Android, they're free. Make that effort because trust me, sometimes Google Translate is not the best. We've all been there, okay? But I definitely would recommend Talking Points and Remind. Thank you so much. It was great to be here with you virtually. I can feel the energy in the room from everyone watching. It was amazing. All right, if you need to contact me, there's my email, Alexis McCoy, kellerisd.net. Enjoy the rest of your day.